Good evening, everybody. Today it's day 25 of Math 133. We are coming up on the end. I can see it down here. We've got a couple days left. Um, today we're going to cover the cumulative review number 7, which is on page 595 in your course pack, page 595. And um, so we didn't cover all of the cumulative reviews. There's a cumulative review number 8 that we are not going to do. And that covers chapters 1 through 11. So since we're not doing that one, that would be a good one to study off of as you're getting ready for the final exam because it covers all of the stuff that we've learned so far, just like the sample final exam is going to cover chapters 1 through 11, and the final exam will cover chapters 1 through 11. But today, the cumulative review number 7 covers chapters 1 through 10. Okay. Um, just as a reminder, on this upcoming Thursday, I'm going to run my class in the morning, and then I'm going to I'll record the entire thing and I'll post it on YouTube as soon as possible. Usually, I always post the videos the day of the class, um, but sometimes, it's after I do the evening class. But anyway, on this upcoming Thursday, I will post that morning recording as soon as possible because I'm not going to be here for the evening class. So no evening Zoom this upcoming Thursday. Okay. All right. So let's jump in to our worksheet today, page 595, the cumulative review. Um, this cumulative review has a data set that I'm going to want. So if in Canvas, if you click on the cumulative review worksheet number 7, it will give you a link that will take you to some data sets. It's the same data sets it's the same document for all of our worksheets. So the cumulative review one is way down here at the bottom. Cumulative review number 7. There's a Google Sheet. The StatCrunch link is not working. We'll work around it. It's okay. But the Google Sheet one does work. So that'll bring you here, and I'll drop this link in the chat for you. So there's that. We're going to need this for question number 1 on our worksheet, okay? So we're going to do File, Make a Copy. All right. This is spring 26. And I'm going to save it. Where am I going to put this? I'll put this in my spring folder, or you can put it in my drive, right? There you go. Now you'll be able to edit it. But for filling this in, you don't need to submit this. So I don't necessarily need to see all the formulas or everything. We just need to write our answers on the paper. But I am going to stop my screen share. I'm going to have someone else show us how to uh, fill in these cells. So Nathan's on it. Nice. Thanks, Nathan. So for the first one, yep, you did equals, and then you need parentheses. You take the lower limit plus the next lower limit, divide by 2. That's just taking the average of 10,000 and 20,000, so that gives you 15,000. Nice. So that's our foundational midpoint. And then for the next one, can you show us what you did in cell B3 again? Oh, you've already started another formula. Yeah, there you go. So you did B2 plus 10,000. You're using 10,000 because that's our width here, right? Um, all right, good. All right, so now, yep, you can hit enter, and now you can go to back to cell D2 and show us how to do the relative frequencies. Okay, yeah, no problem. We can see your screen right now, so. All right, so for relative frequency, yep, equals, yeah, relative frequency is the frequencies divided by the total. So yes, we do need the sum. So there you go. Frequency divided by our total. Good. Okay. I think we need three. I think three decimal places is good. So there you go. So I don't want you to have to type in all of these. Yeah. So um, it's asking you if you want to divide by 211. So if you click on one of those cells, you can see that it's not dividing by C9, it's dividing by $C $9. Yeah. So you could have also just typed 211, but that will work. All right, so for cumulative frequency, it's a two-step process. Yep. So the first one, you just copy the first frequency. Okay. And the next one, yep, you click on the cell above and that frequency, and you can copy that down. D3, I think. Yeah, there you go. All right, that looks good. Yeah, and then if you need to insert a chart, you would highlight the frequency column. Um, Thankfully, for this one, we don't necessarily need to do that because all we're going to do is we're just going to copy these numbers into our worksheet, right? So if we did need to do that, yeah, so it's skewed left, or sorry, skewed right, looks skewed right to me. All right, cool. Thank you, Nathan. And I'll take over the screen share again. Um, all right, great. So now that we've done that, we will copy all those into our uh, into our spreadsheet here. So I didn't write all of them down. Hopefully, you guys were writing them down as Nathan was doing it. Um, but we've done these a couple different times, right? So, um, okay. So next, we're gonna give some more hints. Let's look at part H down here. Find the following distribution for this distribution. Find the mean and the standard deviation. So this cumulative review covers chapters 1 through 10, and we on the final exam, it's going to be chapters 1 through 11. And you can use your exam notes packet, which has all kinds of useful things in it, but finding what you need can be difficult sometimes because this exam notes packet's 14 pages. So you guys are going to help me out. What page do I need to look on to calculate mean and standard deviation? So page page 253 has a script for interpreting a mean and standard deviation at the top. We expect write out what the variable is to be mean, give or take standard deviation. But to calculate it, the StatCrunch steps, yep, Raya's got it on page 254, is where we would go. There's three different methods for calculating standard deviation, depending on if you have raw data, a frequency distribution, or a probability distribution. So we need page 254. And which method are we going to use here? Method two, yes. Method two is if you have a frequency distribution, and that's what we have. We have a frequency distribution. Okay. All right. Page 596. The following table represents the number of screenings for breast cancer and cervical cancer by different race, ethnicity for table of patients. Find the probability of selecting someone with these different things. So there were probability rules on page 254 at the bottom, depending on whether you're looking at or, if you're looking at not, okay? And then would any of these events be unusual? We said that an event is unusual if the probability is less than 5%, right? That's if we're looking at percentages. There's two rules for unusual. If you're looking at a probability, we say that if it's less than 5%, that is unusual. If you have a z-scores, then we say that anything where you have a z-score beyond two standard deviations is unusual, right? So two standard deviations is 95% of the data. So outside of two standard deviations would be 5%. So right here is plus two. So anything greater than two or less than negative two will be considered unusual. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next page, page 597. Quality control manager believes that the average calories for 5 ounce and a 5 ounce serving of vanilla yogurt is less than 175 calories. You gather a random sample of vanilla yogurts. All right, so this one is the one where we needed StatCrunch, but that StatCrunch link is not working. So if you just go to an open blank StatCrunch, make sure you sign in. You could just fill in the numbers. So it's not that many. And then once you've filled them in, then you can do what you need in StatCrunch. So question A, find X bar, S, and N. X bar is the mean, S is the standard deviation. So to calculate a standard deviation, we are going to again use page 254. This time, are we using method 1, 2, or 3 to calculate the mean and the standard deviation of this data set? Method 1 is if you have a single column of data or a single row. In this case, this is a row of data, but you'll notice that when I started putting it into StatCrunch, I didn't put it in as a row, I put it in as a column, okay? Most data analysts are used to talking about columns of data. Verify the requirements to conduct a hypothesis test are met. We need to check and make sure that our test is random, it is independent, and normal. Okay. Use a 5% significance level test to or sorry, significance level to test the manager's claim. So what page do I need to look at to test this manager's claim, right? There's some StatCrunch buttons I need to click on, and where do I need to go for that? So we're doing hypothesis testing, but there's a couple different pages for hypothesis testing. There's hypothesis test for a single proportion, for a single mean. That's the chapter 10 stuff. We haven't gotten to the chapter 11 stuff, but there's quite a few different things for chapter 11. There's test for two independent populations, matched pairs, difference between two independent means. So, well, it's not any of those. So, are we looking at means or probabilities? Let's start with that. We're looking at means or probabilities in this one. We're looking at mean, that's correct, the average calories, okay? So that would mean that we want to look at page 263, hypothesis test for a single mean, okay? So that's going to have, our requirements, that's going to have our formula, okay? And our StatCrunch, stat t-stats one sample, okay? All right. Last page is page 598. In 2022, 25% of US adults said that they would buy an electric vehicle for their next purchase. A researcher at Ford Motor Company believes the percentage of US adults who say they would buy an EV is higher now. So he's trying to figure out, how many electric vehicles should they make? Should they make more? They gathered a random sample of adult Americans, found that 29% of them would buy an electric vehicle. So fill out this chart here. What are the researchers' hypotheses? So verify the requirements, right? So now are we looking at mean or proportion? Now we're looking at proportions. So all of this stuff you'll find on page 262. Okay. That's it for the hints. Let's go back to page 595.